Get in my lap. Oh God, the cow. Ugh. Hi guys, I'm Amy. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am finally recording my answers for the Q&A that I announced in a chatty video that I did recently, and y'all seemed interested, so I'm going to answer some questions for you guys that you guys asked. And this is in celebration of meeting a huge milestone, or making, or however you want to phrase that I hit 1,000 subscribers, which is just mind-boggling and amazing. So this video is just a thank you to you guys for watching and subscribing and listening and commenting and watching and just being a part of my bookish life, because you guys have made it so much better. So thank you so very much. But if you guys are interested in getting to know me a little bit better outside of my reading life, then go ahead and keep on watching. Alrighty, so April from Getting Hygge With It had a few questions for me regarding the house my husband and I are currently building, and that is the color of my kitchen cabinets, the color or what my countertops are, and then how many levels the house is. So the cabinets throughout the entire house will be this dark, rich, chocolate, cool toned color. I will put a picture up here for you guys because it's a little bit difficult to describe, but I'm so excited about them. And the kitchen cabinets are alder, which I think is a gorgeous light wood that I'm very happy with. And my countertops in my kitchen will be a quartz that is a white quartz with little splotches and veins of a brown gray cool tone. Again, everything in my house is cool toned. Again, I'll pop the picture up. And then my house is one level. It's not going to be very big. We're actually downsizing from our last house, but all the space will be used, which we are very excited about. And Chris from Chris Bookish Cauldron, who encouraged me to do this video, so thank you, Chris. First question is, what's a book that made me cry, because he's looking for a good emotional read. And I'm going to go with a very well-known book that I haven't heard anybody talking about in a while. And if you've read it, Chris, let me know and I will give you something else. But that is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. This is a World War II story about two women in France, two sisters who had very different experiences during the war. And I kid you not, I think the last whole 100 pages of this book, I just bawled. Like, ugly cry, mascara. I sat on my back porch and just lost it. So if you're looking for a tearjerker, this one will definitely do it for you. And Chris's next question is, if you could transform into any animal at will, what would it be? And there are two animals that I generally pick from that I say are my favorites, but I'm gonna go with a bat, because bats are super freaking cool and they're adorable and I want one, and they get to like fly around at night and they can fly and they get to be in caves and cozy, and yeah, I'd be a bat. Definitely a bat. And Kathy wants to know, what are some of my favorite classic authors? It would not be appropriate for me to not mention Jane Austen and Louisa May Alcott, as those are some of the first classics I ever read. But if I had to pick one, I think I'd have to go with Elizabeth Gaskell. I did recently reread North and South, and I adore that book so very much. I'll link my review up here for you guys, or wrap up where I talk about it, because she's an amazing author. Kathy's next question is, have I always loved to read? And yes, I don't ever remember not being a reader. Growing up, my parents, every night before bed, would tell my sister and I to each pick out a book, and I would repeatedly pick out the longest book so I could stay up later, but also because I just love to read. And so between my parents, who always encouraged me to be a reader, and a really incredible elementary school librarian, my love of reading was fostered from a very young age, and I don't ever remember not loving books. Like, I have memories of going to a used bookstore and just being, as a child, and being beyond excited to be there and buy books. Do I have a few all-time faves as far as books? Most definitely I do. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith, The Tsar of Love and Techno by Anthony Marra, North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, and probably The Butcher's Hook by Janet Ellis. And the last question from Kathy is, how long have Aaron and I been married? Aaron and I have been married for 5 years as of August, which is crazy. We've almost been together for a decade now, which makes me sound and feel very old, but it has been a wonderful life with him, and I picked a good one, guys, a very, very good one. Penny Pie wants to know what made me decide on my career in teaching. I am a preschool teacher, and for those of you who may not know, and I kind of stumbled upon being a teacher. I was in a position as an office manager that became very toxic and unhealthy, and I decided to leave, and my mom works at a preschool and she said, hey, we have a position open, I think you should apply for it. It's only 8 hours a week, but it will give you something to do while you figure out what you're gonna do next. And long story short, I'm still there and absolutely loving it, and really don't have any intention of switching a career outside of education, because it fills my cup. It makes me really happy, and I love those little ones so much. They make my heart very happy. Penny Pie also wants to know how Aaron and I met, and technically Aaron and I met in the 3rd grade in Sunday school when neighbors of theirs brought Aaron and his sister to my church, and then they ended up staying, and Aaron and I got to know each other really, really well through confirmation, and we're really good friends all through middle school and high school, but did not start dating until college, our freshman year of college, excuse me. So we've known each other a very, very, very long time. She also wants to know if Aaron loves books as well, and Aaron is a lover of stories, and what I mean by that is he loves to play video games, specifically video games that have really great, big, sweeping, epic stories. Red Dead Redemption is a favorite, Skyrim is a favorite. He also just played one about Lord of the Rings. I don't remember what it's called. But he has never really been much of a reader, but he, within the last year, got a job that requires about an hour and a half-ish sort of commute, and started listening to audiobooks because I was like, well, you should try audiobooks, and he loves it. So he's not one to sit down and read a book, but he does love books if someone can present them to him, which is wonderful, because this ties into the next question, is do we discuss books together? And now we do, because he listens to audiobooks and I read my books, and there's a lot of overlapping because I recommend a lot of books to him, or he'll read a book and think that I should read it, and it's been a really, really great, wonderful change / new aspect within our relationship, that we get to share this hobby together, and especially one that's been a hobby of mine for such a long time. And Penny Pie's last question is, can you tell us a little bit about each of your pets and where they came from and if they get along? So I'm gonna go grab them individually, so just 1 second. Alrighty, ooh, we will start with Loki, who's gonna give kisses. Loki came from a rescue. He was technically a failed foster. We were fostering him and his brother from the time that he was 7 weeks. And my husband freaked out when there was a possibility of Loki leaving. So Loki is about 2, and he is a total derp, as we call him. He's a pity mix, and he wants to lick my lip gloss off, and I've never had an animal make me laugh like Loki. And he gets along pretty much with everybody. As far as the other critters. So as you can tell, we've done nothing to discourage the fact that he's not a lap dog, but does sleep under the covers with us. Alrighty, now Millie's very upset because I had to uncover her from the big pile of blankets in which she's burrowed in. Millie is a miniature pinscher dachshund mix that my husband and I rescued a week before we got married. She was about 3, so she's about 8 now. And she is my baby. She is my meerbat because we're meerkats and has bat ears, so she's my meerbat, and those are also my 2 favorite animals. And she came from a rescue as well, and she gets along with everybody, well, as in Loki, but Ella, who's our kitty cat, I will chat about next, and how well they get along, which she gets along with the dogs. But Millie is my puppy, she's my girl, she's my boogie wug, I love her so much. She is the dog that made me into a dog mom, and a dog lover, and I've always liked dogs, but I would have said I'm a cat person, but now I'm a dog person because of this little nugget right here. I have the cutest dog in the whole world, guys. Sorry, that position's been taken by the Millicent, by the Millie May. That was very, very, very rambly, but I just love her so much, and she's so cute. And the last critter that we have is my kitty cat, Ellie Belly. She is about she's gonna be 13, I think. She was a stray that followed a neighbor kid home and then never left our house. And so she was at my house when I was in high school, and then she came to live with Aaron and I when we moved into our apartment. And she rules the roost. Ella has Loki terrified of him, and Millie can't stand her. So Ella's queen bee, I must say. And she's a cat, so she just doesn't care about anything but the fact that she knows she's in charge. And she's singing right now. Can you hear her? Can you hear her? She's a good girl. And Grace has a series of questions for me as well. The first of which, have I read all of Jane Austen's works? How you doing there, Looks? And no, I have not. I've read 4 of her works. I still need to read Mansfield Park, Northanger Abbey, and Lady Susan. I think that's it though. Does she have 7? I think it's 7. And her next question is, what color will the walls be in our new house? And again, I'll leave a picture right here. It's a grayish, cool toned, gray beige type color, but I'm very excited about it. And the trim will be white, so it'll look nice and sharp and clean. She also wants to know if our new house will be close to my family like our old house was. And yes, we will be close. We are technically moving to a different city, but it's a group of cities that are all together and we're all codependent on each other, different city governments and such, but we just work as one bigger city, I guess. But it's only gonna add like another maybe 10 minutes at most to either one of our parents' drives to get to our house or from our house to get to theirs. So still very, very close, which we are very happy about. And she also wants to know what my favorite color is. And my favorite color is purple, and always has been. And I probably will just always have that be my default favorite color. And Grace's last question is, what's my job like and what do I do in the preschool? Well, I'm a preschool teacher. I teach the preschool class. So I teach the kiddos that are 3 years old and will be turning 4 over the course of the school year. So they will have another year of pre-K before they go on to kindergarten usually. And I am one of the teachers. So I'm very blessed in the fact that I get to work with my mom. She is my other co-teacher, so every other week we switch off who does lessons and we do projects with the kids and lead story time, and I get to read to them, which is my very favorite thing to do, go figure. So I do a little bit of everything in the preschool, and I love it. My job is really, really awesome. And Martha wants to know, what book would you like to see an adaptation of that hasn't been done yet, and who would the ideal cast members be for the main character? I would actually really, really love to see an adaptation of The Butcher's Hook, because I think it would be super awesome to see a really cool, gritty character like Anne on the screen who's just so very interesting. I think about that book on a regular basis. Can you guys not tell? But I really don't have, I'm not well versed in the world of Hollywood or actors or that type of thing, so I don't really have a dream cast, but if I think of something, I'll leave them down below. But to be honest, I doubt that I will, because I don't have anybody in my head, because I just like to see what other people come up with. Another question from Martha is, what do you consider to be your Swiss Army knife book Riot reference, which is a book I recommend the most / my #1 go-to recommendation. And for that, I think I'll have to go with The Tsar of Love and Techno by Anthony Marra. I just think that's a book that can appeal to everybody. The prose is gorgeous, but it's not difficult to read. You don't have to wade through it. The vocabulary is not so much that you're constantly looking up words, and it's just because it's split up into short stories technically, but it reads as one big narrative. I think it's easy to digest, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous story about the connections that we make as humans, and I really should reread it now that I talk about it, because it's just so, so good. She also wants to know, if I could take or have an ideal vacation, how would it be and where, and would I do a staycation at the new house or would I travel, and what types of books would I bring, and would I go alone or with someone? Now, as you probably can tell, because I don't have a house of my own, I would love a staycation, reading vacation at my new house, but if I were to go somewhere, I'd probably want to go somewhere up in the mountains or woods, at a cabin by a lake. And the types of books that I would read would probably be fall type of books, because I'd love to go in the fall when it's cozy and you can have a fire and tea and big sweaters and blankets. So some that I'm planning and hoping to get to this fall, not that I'm going on a vacation just to read, would be like The 13th Tale and oh, let me think. Frederick Bachman's Beartown, just more the cozy reads that really just get into the nitty-gritty. Probably literary though, to be honest, if I had to pick a single genre, or classics, definitely classics. And of course I would take Aaron with me because he would listen to audiobooks or play video games and we could just hang out and be cozy and hooga all weekend, which is my favorite kind of weekend. Another question from Martha is beverage of choice while reading, favorite reading snack, background noise okay or silent, preferred reading time, daytime, bedtime, before going to sleep, or whenever. So my beverage of choice while I read is hot tea. Go figure. I'm a reader. I love it. I don't really eat though while I read. I'm too focused and then I forget there's a snack and then the dogs are bothering me. So I don't generally eat while I read, so I don't have a favorite one. As far as background noise, it doesn't make a difference to me. I don't usually put music on that has lyrics. I will put on like classical goes pop type background stuff, but I usually zone out pretty much. So if there is background noise, it doesn't bother me. I frequently read while Aaron plays video games on the couch, so I'm used to noise going on, and Aaron and my mother both regularly complain about my ability to zone out and neglect anything going on around me while my nose is stuck in a book. And as far as preferred reading time, I almost always read in bed before going to sleep, but I'll read it any time of the day, really. Except morning. I'm not generally a morning reader, but that's because I'm slow to wake up in the mornings and have other things that I have to do. So once my day starts to wind down, I like to read. It's a good way to relax. Martha also asks, will Aaron and I ever do a video / tag together? Yes, we probably are likely to. We've actually been toying around with an idea of doing a series in which Aaron wants to call it Aaron's Audibles because he listens to audiobooks and has this really corny idea for an intro. But basically where we talk about books that I physically read and that he listened to and our different experiences with them, because we've had varying reactions and responses to books. The same book in which sometimes he loved them and I hated them, or vice versa. So if you guys would be interested in something like that, please let me know. Aaron's been dying to do something on this channel. I don't remember if we've done a tag before or not. If we have, I'll link it up here, but I can't remember if we have. I know we filmed one, but I don't know if it ever made the cut and upload schedule. But if you guys would be interested in seeing more of Aaron, let me know, because I'm sure he'd be completely on board. He's much more extroverted and outgoing than I am, so I'm sure he would love it. And the last question is, who is one author you would love to meet, and what's the first question you'd want to ask them? Specifically, what's a question you want answered from them in relation to their books? That is a tricky one. I'm looking at my bookshelf. I'm not ignoring you guys, I promise. My first reaction would be Frederick Bachman, just because I respond to his books so deeply and emotionally. I would want to know, I would love to know where he got the idea for the fairy tale land and my grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry, and what inspired that. I don't think about this a lot, and maybe I should. Or another author is probably Tamara Pierce, who wrote some of my favorite books of all time. They're YA books, fantasy books about mostly kick-ass girls. And I'd love to know her inspiration for Dane, who is a girl with a magic affinity for animals that is just, I love that series so much. So I'd want to know where she got the inspiration for that. So there's two, but I should probably think about this more, you guys. But I think I'm gonna go with those two, Bachman and Pierce, because Bachman's probably been my favorite author as an adult, and Pierce was my favorite author growing up. And my last question is from Jessica at Jessica Reads Things. First of all, if you guys aren't subscribed to her, please go do that, because she's awesome and has wonderful reviews on books and a really great taste in books as well, and reads very broadly, which I always appreciate. And she wants to know, how do I track my reading? So up until right before I started my channel, I didn't really track my reading. I just read and then put books down and didn't think about them or tracking them or looking back on what I'd read in a year. But about the time I discovered BookTube, I started this really technical system of writing down titles on these index cards with the month in which I read them. They start back in April. Oh, nope, not April. Where's the first one? I was not prepared for this. Can you tell? 17, 10, 17, 8, 17, 7, 17, 6, 17. In March of 2017. Sorry, that took forever. I apologize. So just, there's no rhyme or reason. All different ones. Currently though, I ran out of those because I packed them away. So in my traveler's notebook, I've started a page in which I've been doing the same thing, and I will update that to one of these lists. I also do have a Goodreads, which I do just mark the books and what I rate them, although I don't think a lot of ratings because I feel like it's easier to talk about them than just put a description in a book or in a star rating, because there's so much to a book and why you enjoyed it or not that I feel like ratings are just so arbitrary, and they really actually frustrate me significantly. But I don't do reviews or anything on there. It's just more of a way for me to track it electronically now. But I really don't enjoy Goodreads. I did just yesterday download a Litzy account, but I haven't figured that out yet. So advice down below would be great if you do use that. But this is really mostly my tracking method. But I don't track like the types of authors, the type of books, genres, any of that, because I just read what I want to read when I want to read it. That's really a horrible explanation, but the truth. Alrighty guys, there's a very long, very chatty Q&A. Thank you for your interest in the Q&A. I appreciate it, and thank you so much again for subscribing and being a part of this channel and just taking time out of your day to listen to me talk about books. It's mind-boggling, honestly, guys. It's so mind-boggling. But if you guys are interested in more Q&As in the future, let me know down below. I can answer questions in every Talks and Tea video type of situation. But if you guys like this video, please like it. And if you loved it, please subscribe. And we will see you in my next video. Happy reading. It's a Tuesday, and I'm filming. But Amy, you work on Tuesdays. Not when your body decides to get shingles. Yep, shingles, because that's a great use of your time. Oh yeah.